Awesome, awesome. All right. So, are you guys ready to learn some good information? Wait, let me make that a little bit. All right. Good, good. All right, calm down. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. All right, okay. All right. So, today, go back to that first slide. Today, I am going to talk to you about my ultimate guide to pitching, never shared before, how to make the perfect pitch. So I'm going to make this quick because I can't go into detail about every single thing. If you don't understand a term that's used, make sure you write that down so that you can Google it to find out what I mean. You can also message me in the Slack. Even though I'm going to be away from my desk today, I'm still going to be responding to messages. Okay, so you can ask me anything after this. But definitely get out your pen and paper if you need this information, even if it's not for this competition. Okay, next slide. So today we're going to go over the essentials that I believe should go into every pitch deck, your delivery, tips, and tools to use. All right, next. All right, so the judges will be assessing how well thought out your idea is, not how unique it is, right? When you're talking to the judges, just know that the judges have been in front of hundreds of other startups. The judges that we've picked they've been in front of so many businesses, they've heard of gazillion wonderful ideas. But, I mean, for me, I'm a creative person, so I have an idea every day, at least one idea a day, right? So if you're creative like that, you're having a lot of ideas. Not every idea is a great idea, and because of that, it has to be well thought out. This is what you're going to be trying to prove in your slide deck today. Like Grant was saying, you're not going to spend so much time on building it, but what you're going to do is show that you've thought this through, right? A little bit more critically, right? So that's just frame your research and everything that you do today around that thought. I want to make sure that I show that I thought this through. So use the remainder of the day to provide proof that you've thought things through. That's the important thing. Next. All right, so here are the essentials. I'm going to have two slides for this. Here's what every pitch should include. All right, research and statistics, specifically around your target demographic or industry, okay? Make sure that it's super relevant to what you're talking about. You don't need a whole bunch of numbers, but you should start with some numbers, I believe, especially in uh, the initial slides. You can maybe save those to the end. Either way, just make sure that you have something to back up what you're saying that is concrete. And make sure it says recent and as reliable as possible. The second thing, consumer feedback. Like we were saying, when it comes to Startup Weekend, one of the things I noticed, they really want to make sure that you're asking people questions. So we want to emphasize that. Ask people questions. Go into multiple groups, use multiple channels. Let them know up front that you're conducting research, because if you try to do it on the slicks, in a sneaky way, administrators can get mad about that. So make sure that you are being upfront that, hey, I'm conducting research for something I'm doing, right? All right. Also, make sure that you're going through your competitive analysis, okay? Just as a sidebar, by researching your competitors, know who your competitors are and analyze how you can offer a better, easier, more efficient, or money-saving product or service, right? What I've seen a lot of people do with their competitive analysis is they kind of create like a graphic that has all of their competitors on it. Maybe like, let's say the top 3 competitors, and they have all of the services they provide, and they do like a checkbox, and they're showing what they provide, and then you provide a little bit more, right? So you have to know, do some research on what they're doing. Look at some of their reviews, see what people are saying, right? There's a lot of competitors out there who have bad reviews, so you want to make sure that that's another way you can do consumer research. Then also your total addressable market. Okay, so the difference between the market size projection and your total addressable market is different, because if you are looking at your industry, you say, oh, this is a $5 billion industry, right? Let's say for naturally, they're talking about hair, right? Hair care, let's say specifically black hair care is, let's say I'm making this up, $5 billion industry, right? If your industry is about natural hair care, how much of that industry is based on natural hair care? How much of that industry is based on natural hair care in the US or in Texas or in some other countries? What are you sourcing your information from, and how is it very specific to you? Because even though like Grant said yesterday, we're not talking about, the market size is, 1,400,622 cents, whatever. We're not looking for those type of answers, but you can't just say, oh, if you're talking about like a car app and say the car industry, it's a $2 trillion industry. Look at how much money we stand to make. That is not accurate, right? So make sure you do your research on that. Okay, next slide. So continuing with this, your value proposition. Okay, so here's an easy way to wrap your head around your value proposition. Think of your value proposition statement as a combination of your elevator pitch and the primary goal of your business. Make sure that your value proposition is and prices align well with your customer, right? So when we talk about that customer feedback, one of the questions you would need to ask, or I encourage you to ask, is how much people are willing to pay for what you want to charge, or what the service that you're giving, right? You know, if you're talking about an app, everybody is talking about an app. For the top four, everybody's talking about, I think it's mostly apps, right? How much are you planning to charge a subscription? So maybe do a poll that says $199, $399, $599. How much would you pay for an app like this, right? So make sure that the value proposition also aligns with what you're charging, what people are actually willing to pay, not what someone is willing to pay for this brand that is already huge and already great and been marketing for 20 years. You don't exist yet, right? So for an unknown, you have to think about that, right? What someone is willing to pay, you know, for whatever brand, let's say Nike, and you're coming out with a shoe brand. What someone is willing to pay Nike and what someone is willing to pay you are two completely different conversations. So, but the primary goal of your business, right? That is what Grant was talking about, which is the annoying thing. What are you trying to fix? What problem, whose hurt are you trying to solve, right? So some of the things that need to be in the pitch deck is how you plan to make money, how your product or service works, right? A go-to-market strategy, and your minimum viable product, right? That's basically what you're presenting today. And then costing and financing. You don't have to be an expert to come up with how much this is going to probably cost you, right, to get started. But those are some numbers that you need to think about, aside from here's all the money we stand to make. You know what's between that, where you are now, and the money you stand to make? How much is going to cost you to even get in the area where you can charge that much money, right? Because you have to get to a point in your business where the value is at the level that people actually would pay that amount, right? So make sure that you're looking at how much it's going to cost you to do these different things, if you need subscriptions and all of that. So keep those things in mind. All right, next. So your delivery. So just as important as your what's in your pitch is the delivery of your pitch. I know most of you have watched Shark Tank, right? And I mean, in the beginning, I've been watching Shark Tank since the beginning it came out. Shark Tank in the beginning, they used to let everybody come in there. I mean, it was like really, really ghetto. And anybody could just walk up there. But now these days, you know, unless you're really a really good pitch guy, you're not going to make it on Shark Tank, right? So, but every good pitch is clear, it is confident and concise. So when you're looking at 5 minutes, you've got 5 minutes to make your pitch. It has to be concise. It has to be repeatable, especially repeatable, because you don't want someone who can change your life or really connect you to the people you want to be connected with to hear your idea and then go in front of someone that they want to connect you with and say, oh, Andy had such a great idea. It was about, wait, let me see. Dang it, I can't remember, but it was so good, right? How can they rally support for you in their circle if they can't remember what you're saying? So whatever you're saying, it has to be so strong. It has to be very clear and to the point. Just imagine, you know, whenever we're making copy content for marketers, we have a call to action. We use strong words and terminology and concise terminology to make sure that it's very clear what we're saying. So make sure that instead of trying to put as much information as possible on a slide, just make sure that it's clear, right? And make sure that you're being confident about it, right? Because I've seen a lot of people with great ideas on Startup Weekend tell their idea in a low tone, or they're saying, well, my idea is we're going to conserve energy and we're going to help everyone to recycle. And they're saying something great, but the lack of confidence makes people not want to get involved. So clear, confident, and concise. All right, next. All right, suggested 5-minute format. So idea owners, start your slide deck. Assign tasks with deadlines. You have to have a deadline. Choose meeting times first to brainstorm and a second to polish your finished product. First, a brainstorm, get it out of the way. Everybody get a Google Doc, throw all your ideas together. Take away what you don't like, fine tune what you're saying. This is literally the same process that big corporations go through. When Grant was mentioning iterative, that's really how it is. It's like we're constantly throwing things in, taking things out. So this is good practice for that, right? So make sure that you are assigning duties based on skill set. So here's an example. Let's say that we have 5 minutes, so let's spend 1 minute on a slide, right? So you have 1 minute per slide. The first slide, problem and statistics. Say what the problem is. A lot of people, especially an older demographic, they like to hear your story. Something really short, but something that's engaging and that can get them like plugged into who you are and why you're doing this and why it matters to you, right? So the problem and the statistics. So you can start with saying, hey, my name is LaBelle. 10 years ago, I was blah, 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 saying what my problem was. And then I found out I was in this bad situation. Did you know that 55% of women, blah, 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 blah. And then you're working on that. So as you can see on each little slide, I have these little people on it, right? With little sticky notes. Those people represent the people on your team, right? So say on your first slide deck, you have the 3 people who are good at getting statistics and the task that they're supposed to do. So you identify those people and you give them their task, and that is their slide to work on. Second slide, how it works and your value proposition. Okay, so first state your value proposition and then talk about your solution. How will your service or product work or your app work? You go in, click this, you input that, and you blah, 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 the algorithm does this, and boom, then you're able to do this and that. So just have a brief description or overview of how it would work. Nothing too detailed, but just something that can be skimmed through. The third slide, consumer feedback, right? Consumer feedback in your minimum viable product. So what does that mean? So you want to bring back the information that you gathered. Let's say today you're not able to get enough people to respond. It's Saturday. A lot of people are going to be out. You're not in front of these people. So you might want to go back and read other posts that people have typed in that are similar to yours. Maybe someone else had asked the same question 5 months ago and 100 people answered in the group. Look at those things. Do more research for any surveys that have been done by an independent agency, right? And then look at how you can solve the problem in the most minimalist way, right? So for instance, with LeBeau Labs, we have a consulting service, $100 a month. You get a marketer that's going to help you strategize, help you come up with a timeline. They're going to help you execute some minimum things that aren't really hard to do. They're going to educate you, and this is your person, your go-to person for all your marketing issues, right? That is a MVP of our company. That's how you get into our company on a surface level, a low level, to get introduced to who we are. We're getting feedback from them because of that. We're getting the testimonials and reviews. When we cancel that service, we'll have everything we need to charge what we really want to charge, but because of the feedback we'll have, it'll be so much better and so much more concise, right? So that is what I'm talking about when I say the MVP. Slide 4, your go-to-market strategy. Now, here's an easy way to wrap your mind around your go-to-market strategy. First of all, there's many templates online. Type it in, you'll find a template for a go-to-market strategy that you could just edit, right, and customize. But here's a way to wrap your head around it. When you try to come up with how you're going to launch something or how you're going to make the money that you're going to make, you're going to have like 20 different tasks, right? 20 different tasks. Which one of those things actually puts money in your hands? Which one of those things will actually give you what you actually want? So if I said, I want to make a car washing service, right? All you have to do is give me your address. I'll go and wash your car at your house. Don't steal that. I just made that up. I'll go wash your car, right? Okay, fine, great. I'll wash your car. Putting up flyers is not a part of my go-to-market strategy because that doesn't actually put cash in my hands. Make sure that you're including what actually gives you what you want. And if it's not, if it's just something like create a blog, that's not a part of the go-to-market strategy, right? So that's a whole bunch of stuff that don't even put it in there because we don't have time to look at all those little tasks. So be a little bit more precise about your go-to-market strategy. Finally, the 5th slide, your financial information. Here are some of the questions you need to answer. How much will it cost you? Just a roundabout figure, okay? How much will it cost you? Estimate. How much do you need from investors? How much will you need to get started if you were going to start this year, right? How much will you charge your customer, right? And then your profit margin. How much will you make? How much will you make, right? So those are the 4 things that you need to keep in mind. And that's when you think about your TAM, your total addressable market. Look at how much the industry, then specific to your niche industry, then specific to your country, and then specific to maybe your state. You might say, well, it's an app, it's not limited to my state, but we're talking about your MVP. So maybe you want to start local. Start looking at it that way first, and then the numbers will start to make sense and sound more realistic, right? Go to the next slide. All right, so here are some tips. Everyone on your team should understand that when they're done with their task, they should then ask for updates on what else needs to be done and pitch it as and pitch in as they can. So for instance, if I was having a party and my house was a mess and I told all my kids, I said, and you do the dishes, Aiden, you sweep. But when Aiden's done sweeping, he just goes upstairs and gets on the game. What I would rather him do is when he's done sweeping to come back to me and let me know, hey, I'm done sweeping. Is there anything else I need to do? Right? That's the attitude you need to have today. You may not have a lot of time today, but just give them updates. Let them know, hey, you told me to do this. I just wanted to let you know it's done. Check it out on the slide deck. Did you need me to do anything else? I'm going to be busy for the rest of the afternoon, but you have me right now. What can I do for you? That's how you should be when you're on a team. Okay, everyone will love you if you are that person on the team. All right. Also, like I said, Facebook groups are a good place to survey for opinions. Jump in a whole bunch of Facebook groups, not just one. Okay. Brainstorm on a shared Google document. So this is what you can do immediately after this if you haven't started already. Brainstorm on a shared Google document on a Zoom meeting. That way you're all adding in your information. You can see it while you're talking, right? And someone's typing it in or you're all typing it in. Delegate tasks based on skill set and availability, and give everyone a deadline to have their work submitted because you need to make sure that everybody understands the time that everything has to be done by. For instance, the deadline for you guys to submit is 4 p.m. Nothing after that, okay? Submit your slide deck to my email. You guys all should know it. You all have it by 4 p.m. so that we can have everything set up. And we're going to click through it just like Sarah is clicking through this for me. We're going to click through it for you so you could just focus on talking like I am. Okay, next slide. So here's some tools. Use colorful, engaging images. Make it easy to read, but minimize wordiness. Check the general thread for useful links. So yesterday I shared Dr. T's wireframing sites, right? If you need that. Canva, I love, so, pitch decks, make it interesting and eye-catching, okay? At the very least, it shows you putting effort, right? Than just using something basic. Google Slides is really, really basic. I don't like those. And I also don't like PowerPoint. But I'm just saying Canva. Then Tableau, you can also use that for graphs. But Canva also has graphs that you can use as well for visualizations. All right, next. All right, so your next steps. If you'll be using our Zoom platform breakout rooms, decide the time you'll be needing them and then see Locke for the link and information. So you will just tag Locke or message him in Slack. He's waiting there. All right, and next slide. All right, so thank you for your time. You guys have a great day. Make sure that you message me if you have any issues. Is there anything after that, or is that the last one?
That's the last one.
Okay, awesome. So now I'm going to go ahead and make Sarah the host after I stop recording. Give me 1 second.